Hello, Dan. Hello, Anders. This is Dimitris calling from Chicago and Metalkaoz. Thank you for joining.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you, man.
the album is a journey, a trip, or whatever. And even though I have heard the album so many times, I don't think I have scratched the surface. Right?
No, it's a grower, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely a grower.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm starting to like it. It's so thick that you need to go to keep flipping the pages, because if you just listen to one of or two songs, it doesn't do anything. You have to really go in.
Yeah, yeah. I would have known, since I have my, it would be very interesting for me to listen to the band. If I would, if the gods would allow me to take a step back and take a pause from my own spirit or whatever, so I could listen as a fan, that would be very interesting for me to actually hear what Draconian sounds in that way. But yeah, I would say that this album is way more dense than the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I don't think if you just hear one or two songs, it's not telling the whole story. With some albums, it could. Some albums are just like that. But this one has many different nuances within the same framework, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. And although this question was way ahead of program scheduled later, I believe that once Lethe ends, it's almost guiding you to go back to I Welcome Thy Arrow and start all over again.
That's an interesting, yeah, why not? Yeah, because Lethe describes the end of something, or actually a beginning that you're forced into rebirth once again. It actually leaves that a little bit open, but the voice is actually trying to lure you into that kind of cycle. So it kind of works with, it goes back to I Welcome Thy Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the music starts, and Lisa starts, and you're once again being clad in this sorrowful robe, and you have to go through it all again. I never thought about that before, so thank you.
Well, listen to the album, man. Come on, listen to the album.
Yeah. I'm trying to get into it.
So, John, what is your understanding when you saw the album at its final form? What is your perception of is this a trip that you go through, or it's just music for you?
No, I would say it's something that it's sort of, I wouldn't necessarily even call it a trip of some sort. It's like it delves a lot in philosophies that me and Anders discuss privately a lot as well. When we meet up and stuff like that, so that it's something that you want to present as an art form to like an art to the world. So for me, it's a representation of maybe where we all stand right now, as like persons behind the art. I would say that's something that you can easily represent yourself with. Like for me, it's that's also one of the reasons why I decided it was like a good idea to join the band full time, because it's something that I can get behind and stuff like that. So that is something that is very important for me, at least. And
you are saying,
but I don't know.
You also need to understand what the lyrics, or give, I don't know, some input in the lyrics, and get back and support the music too.
Yeah. But the lyrics can be interpreted in a lot of ways. Like Anders has his interpretation of it, and then when we speak about it, we always found something that maybe like it resonates differently for me, but it's still the same core at some point. I think that's for me especially. I think those things are important if you want to present something and be a part of it. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
It's not meant to be too straightforward. Parts of the album is, some parts of the album obviously is telling you something that cannot be interpreted in too many ways, like Lethe, for example.
mhm.
But I think this album is more introspective and philosophical. It's not so much telling you a story and telling you what to think of it, or what kind of story you should relate to or not relate to. It's inviting you to find yourself into
Yeah.
these thought patterns and landscapes and soundscapes and all of that. Even though, of course, we go back to different subjects that we have been delving, been going through in the past as well. But I think this album is a little bit more not elusive, but it allows the listener to find themselves and maybe color it themselves as well as they go along. And maybe that's why it takes a little bit more time with this album. It's more, maybe demands a bit more, but I think maybe the payoff will be great as well, But you need to maybe be a little bit more patient with this one compared to Under Gallows Veil.
Well, to me, as a listener, the patience comes not to enjoy the album, because you start enjoying the album the moment the music starts. But the real enjoyment for me, it starts when you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And at the end, I have my own interpretation of the songs. And this is where this is my win, my personal win.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's about how you feel after it as well.
Yeah.
And how it relates to how you relate to that and the music, and what it means to you in the end. And that's what I want. That's how I want people to.
When
get
you
to know
guys
them.
were working on the music and on the lyrics, do those things happen in parallel, or you first have the music and then you build on that, and then come the lyrics to complete the picture?
Well, this time around, a lot of the songs were starting already back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Misanthrope River started even earlier because it was a song that was, the idea of the song was created back in the Under Gallows Veil days, but it didn't really make the cut for that album because it didn't fit with the rest of the songs. So Johan saved that song to work on later. So it was the first song, and I didn't have any idea what I wanted the song to represent back then. We only had this title, and this whole process with most of these songs was something that was very late. It bloomed late, so to say. It needed to have this process. Sure, there was a whole pandemic, and we had the changes within the bands, and there was a lot of back and forth, and we didn't really know what, but we did have this album to fall back on, to work on, and I think it all came together last year when it comes to the lyrics. I had been writing so many different poetry and lyrics during the pandemic, but I didn't really know what to use for the band. I needed time for the songs to find their own identity before I could see what fits with it. A lot of it was actually written in the studio during the demo process and in the final process. So it was this thing that we needed the work in the studio for the album to actually come together, at least for me.
That is
and
very
there was a lot of things that Johan made also when we were in the studio. Oh, maybe that fits, Oh, we put that the solo there would work. Maybe we just changed that thing around to put it in the beginning. These things happened in the late stages. So that's how it worked. It was very progressive.
That is interesting because in theory the album took so many. No, in theory, practically the album takes so long to to be made, to be complete. Still, the final product as we I don't like using the word product in music, but hey, the final album sounds like a cohesive story. It doesn't sound fragmented. So
no,
that's interesting.
But there were we had like gaps of not much creativity. Things were very disjointed at times. Johan made a bunch of songs for as ideas, at least twice as much than what is on the album. It was not until last summer that we actually decided how to put together the album to make this cohesive narrative that you speak of. So we just needed a lot of material to do that, and so when things started to make sense when we chose these songs, we started to see that red thread, and the identity of the album started to take form. That's why things kept changing in the studio, because your framework, your mindset is different. There's, you have these aha experiences, and they just keep on coming. And an album is never. You might have an idea what you think the album will be a couple of years before, but it's always different in the end, because you cannot really imagine it, how it takes its own life. How it takes life on its own. So even after all these years and all these albums, each album has its own life, so to say. Maybe it sounds a little bit weird and trippy, but that's how I feel.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I will give you an example. As a listener, again, different albums from different eras represent different stages of my life and my mental state. So yes, every album has its own life.
I think it was the whole process to make this album, even if it was long. It's also a culmination of everything that's been going on. All the confusion in the world, all the confusion in us, the uncertainties within the band, and that's all there. It just became its own breathing thing, kind of. And
you also have to give it time just to let everything fall into place because the album was not something that we wanted to stress either. So like, you should never stress with these things. So that's also one of the reasons why it took so long to get it out.
And you, Dan, shifted from the guitars to the bass, right?
No, I'm the drummer.
That's the other Daniel.
Oh my goodness, I'm so. Jeez.
No worries, man. We have the same name though.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, guys. Jeez. Okay. Then
it's an understandable mistake.
No, it's not. But I appreciate you saying that. So, Dan, what did you bring in the sounds of the new album?
Well, since it's the first album with me behind the kit, I wanted to, of course, like implement the already set core of how the Draconian sound is, but I still wanted to make something a little bit more bombastic, maybe, just to add a flair of how I perceive the music on how I would play it. But I still didn't want to stray too far away from the the Draconian core, because it's not necessary. Like that's also one of the reasons why I enjoy playing with Draconian, that it is like this. But yeah, of course, my own flair is always going to be there. But yeah, maybe add a bit more bombastic thinking behind the kit.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And as you said, Anders, the band had some lineup changes. Lisa is back. You have Niklas joining in. Dan, the other Dan, shifting your roles. So how all this influenced the making of the new album? That's a loaded question, I know, but...
Well, I mean, the foundation or the ideas of the album started in the beginning of that process, where Heike was about to leave and Lisa was about to join, and Niklas had already been in the band. He came in the band in late 2020, I think, but it's been years. Of course, it's new for other people, because this is the first album with both Daniel and Niklas. But the core, the foundation of the Draconian, I don't think it affected Johan that much in his writing, because he always has ideas which he builds from the core and the foundation of the Draconian sound.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's a question for Johan obviously, but I don't think it influenced him that much. I just think that what he's listening to and his intention with the intention behind how he's making and what he wants this new album to sound like, that's his guideline. So
what about the lyrics though,
yeah.
and the vocals? Now you have Lisa back. Did that change in how you approach writing the vocal melodies?
Well, I don't think. I mean, there are, of course, Lisa and Heiko, two very different singers.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that Johan wrote for Lisa, for example, because it fits her voice very well. So of course he had, and he was doing some demo vocals to give her an idea, a guideline of what to do. And sure, that influence. She's a big part of the band. She's like a front. She's a vocalist, so of course, but she was not that present self during that initial process of writing the vocals. It happened later in the studio.
Okay.
Because back then she was not, it was not her role in the band back when the songwriting started, and she wasn't really, it was more or less something that Johan and I worked with, because we were trying to find this, core of what the album should be.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get together and we record the demos, and it takes, as we said before, it takes life on its own when there's Lisa has ideas and we shift things around, and even with my vocals, how I wanted to, be with her and do things together. So it's a little bit difficult to answer, but it's what
I would also say that like the influence that it had on the album, I wouldn't necessarily think that it's that much of a change that way, because everybody in this constellation as it is right now, it has a very clear mind of what Draconian is and is supposed to be. So it's kind of a natural flow to how the band should operate, I would say, more or less. So that's my take regarding the influences. Anyway.
Okay. So the press release mentions Plato and how Plato understands the soul.
Yeah.
How this concept get into the making of the album or writing the lyrics?
It's not really. It wasn't really like that.
Okay.
It was more. I had this talk with a record label, and part of this talk was what inspired the album, of course. And we went into the lyrics and all of that, and we talked about Plato. We talked about his allegory of the cave,
right?
In Republic, and we even had some philosophical back and forth together, which was interesting talking to your label. So I think the impression could be that it's an album about that, but it's not really. It's an underlying core of the message, but it's not an album about Plato's disposition of that or anything. It's just something that we brought up because Plato was he was the philosopher who brought this idea into the Western world back then. But looking back on Draconian's lyrics, we have always been dealing with this idea of feeling alienated in this world, that this world might not be our world, or maybe you feel like an alien here in this world, or and maybe you come from somewhere else. Maybe there's a reason why you feel alone, or why you feel like an outsider, and you never really seem to find your place in this world and the structure of it. So that has always been a part of the Draconian identity, lyric-wise, and it's, I would say, this style of music in general. But it wasn't really until like the like around 2014, 15 there, where I realized that what a lot of these philosophical dispositions of these authors and also these Gnostic thinkers, the earlier secular Christianity, where it completely meant something different, before they decided what should be in the Bible and everything. All these different doctrines, a lot of them were teaching the same thing, that this is not the true world. This is almost like ancient simulation theory. And reincarnation is just another trap for you to go back so they can harvest light and energy from your soul and from all your negative emotions and everything complicated and negative that this world brings you, all this confusion and frustration. So I just realized that there has been a lot of philosophy and even religion, if you can call it that, about this. So that's why I started talking about it. And this time around, I used some Greek mythology and some Gnostic dispositions to make this point across as well. But I wouldn't call it an album about Plato's idea of the soul ascent and the allegory of the cave. But it's an underlying idea of a lot of things that I've been writing, especially in the last 10 years, for sure.
What? I appreciate this explanation, because Plato is all about balance. And the lyrics are not talking about balance. They are talking about something else, as you said.
It's more bleak.
Yeah, it's more of swimming upstream when the river goes downstream. It has to do with Lethe, as you said, and there, instead of having we have an archon waiting by the river. Also, this ties to the Gnostic stuff that you mentioned. So it's anything but about Plato.
No, I mean it is originally, but the Gnostic took Plato's idea and made it more bleak and dark, I would say. Yeah, and which would fit this style that we're playing very well. And I also happen to subscribe to a lot of it myself. The demiurge in Plato's thinking is not as malevolent and dark as it is in Gnostic thinking, for example.
Absolutely.
But it's more about duality. And I think the duality part within that framework works very well when it comes to us, because we are also a balance between the light and the dark. It's the sad, beautiful innocence with the dark, malevolent, mysterious, I would say.
And that's why we are drawn to the music, like the music.
Yeah, I think
right?
it speaks to something. And I think that's what I'm looking for myself when I listen to music. I want something to wake up. I want to clap on my shoulder. I want to feel. Even if this is a hopeless world, I still don't want to feel like I'm alone. And I think that's where Draconian comes in. And that's how I felt when I first started listening to this kind of music. I realized that when reading lyrics and stuff, oh shit, I'm not alone in thinking this way. There's so many people, and music is this common language where we can all, get together and it has its own language basically. And dark matters, and for us, it carries a bit of salvation behind it as well. I think that's a beautiful thing to bring into the songs.
Dan, it's interesting hearing Anders saying this because in the Monochrome Blade, he has a question. There is a lyric line that questions, am I alone in writing my song, right? So I kind of understand now what he's talking about. He's reaching out, right?
It is
together.
It is what people ask themselves many times.
Yeah.
The
other thing, other lyric line.
Also, if I can just say one more thing,
please.
It also means that I'm not alone in deciding my own destiny. there's only so much I can do, but I'm trapped under the archons, so to speak, or powers that want to feed on me, and they don't have my best in mind. They're doing it for their own sustain themselves. So it could mean that, or whatever you want, but it's a more of a bleak song that way. That you might not be alone in writing your destiny, and the god that most people worship might not have your best in interest. So,
speaking of God, one, as I said, I haven't really digested the album, but one of the lines that makes my skin crawl is, "I saw the face of God and it was weeping." And this is the line that Lisa delivers in such a heartbreaking way. I mean, man, come on. That's
in desperation.
Yes, thank you. Exactly like that. And the interesting thing about these things is that we are drawn to this, even though it expresses some desperation, as you said, Dan. I'm drawn to this, and I want to listen again and again.
Yeah. It is definitely a complex song. I don't want to talk too much about the lyric.
No, please don't.
Because it's the most difficult one to talk about. I would say. Yeah. I went in there with a feeling, something that lured me in, and I was just writing, and I was just. It became something as we went along with the song. And it became this narrative that took life on its own, and it's just definitely one of my favorite songs on the album. Yeah. It's definitely to me the most complex one. It definitely has something a bit more mysterious and even edgy.
Oh yes, I agree. I totally agree, and I'm happy that the three of us agree this is one of our favorites. Going back to Lethe. The song ends with drink, forget, repeat. So to me, this translates into something cyclical, like we are choosing to forget, but at the same time, we are going back and repeating the same process again and again. And I know that it may not be the interpretation that you had, Anders, but this is how I feel it, and this is how it goes back to the first song of the album.
Yeah, kind of. We are led to forget. We are led to
that too.
Go back into this cyclical. We are manipulated to drink from Lethe and forget. And that's how the reincarnation matrix can sustain itself.
Mm-hmm.
And this also goes back to Plato and even the Egyptians. But it doesn't matter. It's an interesting train of thought to work with. But that's what Lethe is. It's the river of forgetfulness that appears when you die, and there are all these forces that seem benevolent and they nurturing, and they're showing you your dead relatives, and they are giving you your life review, and they're trying to, oh, maybe you should go back and fix that and fix that. That's the deception, and that's when you drink from Lethe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the archons growling there, yeah. But it's kind of a little bit of a cinematic moment there. It's definitely very epic part, but it's the voice of deception.
Mm-hmm. Dan, do you feel the need to have a connection with the lyrics in order to play or even write music?
Well, as a composer myself for other projects, I would say that the lyrics are extremely vital to me. Mm-hmm. Because especially like on a personal level, I kind of see music as art instead of just background noise, as a lot of people do. So the message of everything that you want to convey should be as important and as the most perfect melody that you can come up with, or something. Like if the lyrics are lacking, that melody is going to mean nothing. That's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really vital to have a connection with what's being presented in some way. Like even if it's not it doesn't have to do with what the intention maybe was, but you at least have to have a connection on your own with it to be able to present it as something that you can stand for.
Very
And
interesting.
it's been very, very important for the fans, especially for our fans at least, and that the music is so immersive and it tells a story on its own. So kind of the lyrics needs to carry that. It cannot be something completely different. I know a lot of people don't find lyrics important. They're more about the vibe, you know. And I can get that as well, but I think it needs to be interconnected, and particularly in this kind of music, you know.
Yeah.
Like
It
to
needs to
answer
mean
the
something.
question, yeah, to answer the question, like of course I can enjoy instrumental music as a spectator, but if I'm to play on my own, it has to mean something.
Oh yeah, you're
To
right.
be clear. Yeah.
And even though I love the discussion, I don't want to hold you guys back from your schedule because aside from the lyrics, you have also the cover artwork of the album that is connected. It completes, it wraps the entire package, right? So it's everything is so well crafted in the new album. This is what I want to say.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Touring wise, you have Latin America, right, and Europe.
Yeah. We're
So far.
leaving for Latin America around the 13th or 14th or something.
I think the
Right.
14th of May.
So
And
should I?
we're doing rehearsals now. Yeah.
So I would love to know, and I'm sure you cannot share that information, what songs from the new album you will play live. However, is there any chance for Draconian to cross the Atlantic and come to North America, not Latin only?
Yeah, we have we discussed this a little bit with the previous interviewer, and it's we don't know. We just want the American audience not to give up hope about it because it's been a long time coming. We have a lot of lost time to make up for.
Yeah.
But these are funny times, not very funny times, and it's not that easy to get to North America.
It's not
for all the members to get into North America. Not for me, unfortunately. I have some misdemeanors, but you know, and under Trump, it could be even more difficult to get into it. I don't know. It's a process. So and it just needs to work organization wise.
It's constantly discussed just to be able to see if there's any opportunity to do it and when to do it and stuff like that. But people have to know that it's not as easy as it seems, and there's a lot to think about if we're gonna do that.
I really hope that people understand how difficult it is, especially these days. So yeah, and since I am in Chicago, I am kind of obliged to ask this question. Although in most of the cases, I already know the answer. Gentlemen, thank you very much for the discussion. As we barely scratched the surface, I'm sorry, Dan, for the mistake earlier.
No worries, man.
Have safe flights.
But do you need another? If you need another couple of questions, we do have time.
Oh, you do, that I will appreciate that. And yes, I can throw this one because when I was watching the Misanthrope River video clip, you had the Rilke quote in the beginning. Who chose that?
I was the one who chose that.
So was it after you have completed the song, or was it part of the process writing the lyrics for that song?
It was during the process of the video being put together.
Okay.
Because the previous album, all the videos had a quote before the video started. So I wanted to do. Okay, it didn't happen for the previous video, but it's like it's a video that we are in, the band is in it, so it kind of speaks for itself somehow. It doesn't need that quote. Yeah, I just wanted to combine. I wanted to do it like I did on the previous album, that revisit that way of doing it, and I will do it again for the next video that will drop.
Oh, interesting.
With the album release, and that's going to be a little bit easier because it's the song relates to Jungian archetype, so it will be fine.
So I think I have understood what song you're talking about. We are talking about Anima, right?
Right.
Okay, because I thought for a moment I thought that since you released Misanthrope River and since Lethe comes afterward, and there is a straightforward connection conceptually, maybe that Lethe will make sense, but it's a long song to make a video clip. So
we have some plans for Lethe in the future, but we didn't feel we have an idea for that video with a different artist, and so that's going to happen in the future. It's definitely something that we should do something with the project, because it's an extremely powerful song.
And I need to share that with you guys. To my mind, Misanthrope River means exhaustion. Like I'm trying to swim upstream, but I cannot control that because the river is so strong. And then the river gets me to Lethe, where, as we discussed, the Archons will wipe my memory.
Yeah, that song leaves the door open a little bit more, I would say.
Okay.
But it could be the Archons, could be anything. But it's more about isolation and separation, and how it can turn you bitter and hateful and resentful, and you're trying to as you're trying to force yourself through the water, and with good intention, you still might lose people that are close to you in that process. It's about all these tricky things that we have to go through in life that creates division. Unfortunately, it's put in a little bit of I would say like a bit symbolical way with that. But yeah, I think that's what I would like to say about it in the end.
Excellent.
It's more about relationship between you and people.
Thank you again, gentlemen. Dan, anything that you would like to mention before I let you go?
No, not at the top of my head. No.
Anything on Aspernatentum or Anticult?
Aspernatentum, yeah. Anticult, we're playing in Romania next week. And Aspernatentum, I'm currently working on the full-length album of that one.
Perfect. Then you can bring those two bands with Draconian in the US. Easy, right?
That would be a very weird mix, but
and a lot to do.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit, you're fucking exhausting.
Thank you very much again. Have a safe travels, man, and see you when I see you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.